Hey, America. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you and many more. Had a lovely day. It's actually the 4th of July as I'm taping this. You're probably watching it later in the week. I hope you're not burnt out on 4th of July sentiments. Just came from the beach. The sun is setting on a breezy, sunny California day. Hung out on the beach with, it was Fitzsimmons, Fitzgibbons, Gibbons, and Gubbins. Gibbons' girlfriend's in town. His daughter came out, my lovely wife, and went in the ocean a little bit. It was cold, but not bad. And we're going off to a friend's house, going on the roof, watch some fireworks tonight, and that's it. That's it. Maybe a little Wimbledon. Maybe I'll watch a little Wimbledon before we leave. So I was thinking about the 4th of July and my favorite ones. And I'm thinking that top 3 of all time, 1983, Brooklyn. It was the centennial celebration of the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, which, by the way, there's an amazing book by David McCullough about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. A little siren in the background. You can hear that. They're heading off to get the fireworks dealers on the beach. Anyway, so like a bunch of us, like 15 of us, took the subway out to Brooklyn, and we drank a lot of Budweiser. And we got about halfway there, and my bladder was so full that I was doubled over. I could not stand up straight. And I did not know Brooklyn at all. And we were going to, I can't remember what stop, but they just told me what stop they were going to. I got off somewhere in Brooklyn, went and took a piss. And then I got back on the train, couldn't remember what stop I was supposed to go to. Drunk. I'm 16. And so I stopped. I got off the subway at what I thought was the place, looked around, couldn't find them, got on the subway, went to another stop, got off, found them. Took like 2 hours. And then there was just like, I just remember it being the best fireworks display I've ever seen in my life. And I was with my boys, and we just celebrated. Back when it was like, there was something about celebrating the country back then. Maybe I was more innocent, but now it just almost feels political, 4th of July, because the flag has been co-opted by one group over the other, and it's not fair. I want the country back. I'm taking it back this year. My friend blew his hand off one year, blew off 3 fingers on his hand, and he still played golf. He was a kid I knew he was a golfer, and it was his right hand. And so the key to golf is it's really all about your left hand gripping it and your left hand pulling through the ball. The right hand is just there to guide it. So it straightened out his hook. He started hitting his drives right down the middle. So whatever. Pro tip. I should do TikTok videos on how to straighten out your golf swing. And number 1 is just hold an M80. Just don't let it go and see what happens. Poor kid. We went out. I had a crazy weekend. We went out Saturday night. Me and Aaron went out to dinner. Saturday night's my date night. If I'm in LA during the week, I don't put in for spots on Saturday night. I don't perform Saturdays. That's the night I go out with my lady and my friends. So Saturday night was low key. Me and Aaron went to this Thai place that we love. And we get home at like 8 o'clock, and there's a whole chicken at my front gate in a bag, like it had been delivered with a chocolate chip cookie on top. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Why is there a and I look at the delivery receipt, and it says Tom. And I'm like, who's Tom, and why did I'm thinking I want to deliver it to him, but it doesn't have an address. So I pick it up. We walk inside. 5 minutes later, Tom O'Neill shows up at my door, drunk with 10 strangers. And he's like, my chicken get here yet? I'm like, what? I go, what's going on? He goes, I was at a bar. I met these guys, all these guys in their 20s. One guy was his cousin who he knows, and then a bunch of strangers. And they come into my house, which was fun. We had a lot of fun. One of them was a kid he was like 28, and he'd been to 77 countries. He's a British guy, really charming, fun guy. And he tells us that he is a comedian and he's never performed in the States and he's leaving in a couple days. And so I said, all right, we got to get this kid on stage somewhere. And so Tom's cousin belongs to a quote unquote yacht club in Marina Del Rey. And when I say yacht club, it's a yacht club in the same way that Penmar is a country club. It's down and dirty. It's like hasn't been touched since the 70s. It's fun. It's locals. They're almost all alcoholics. It's just a bar with cheap drinks. You pour your own drinks and then you put money in I think it's like an honor system. You put money in the jar. And anyway, they got this little back room. And so Matthew goes, hey, why don't we do a comedy show at the Yacht Club tomorrow night, a pop-up show? And I said, we can do that. I go, you get the crowd, I'll get the comedians. So that night I text out to 6 comics. They all say they'll do it. No. I texted out to 3 comics because Gibbons and Gubbins I knew would do it. And then we had this British kid was going to do it. I was going to headline. And then I got 3 other comics, Griffin James and Jacob Feldman and the bartender from Hinano, the bar that I hang out at. And so we planned this show the night before. I go out that night. I go out the night that Tom came over. I had a spot at the Comedy Store at like 11:15. And I hung out because Dave Attell's in town. And I went on stage with Dave Attell and Jeff Ross. They did the bumping mics thing, and they invited me up for a while, and that was a blast. I hung out till like 3:30 in the morning, which I never do. And then I come home. I felt like a teenager, and I woke up at noon the next day. I had a text from Gubbins saying he was at Hinano, which is this dive bar in Venice where they have a couple pool tables. And I meet him down there. They got the best burgers on the West Side, so I had a burger for breakfast, beat Gubbins in 5 straight games. He got in a fight with somebody, so I left. And then got home. We went to the pop-up show. Full house. We had like 40 people on folding chairs in this little room. And the British kid goes up. And it turns out he's fucking great. He's hilarious. And he's hosting the show. And he's like magnanimous and charming. And he's interacting with people. And he gets the crowd going. Everybody has a great set. Griffin and Jacob Kill. Gibbons was there with Gibbons' 2 daughters were in the crowd, and they'd never seen him do stand-up. Gibbons' girlfriend was in the crowd, and she lives out of L.A., and so she'd never seen him do stand-up. So he was nervous, and it was just a blast. It was just like this special night. Everybody felt like it was really special because it was so spontaneous. And I think we're going to start doing shows there. So keep your ears open. We're going to announce some pop-up shows at the Yacht Club in Marina Del Rey. That'll be fun. I got to find out if Attell did this thing. He was in town because Louie Katz, I don't know if you know the comedian Louie Katz, but he is a very funny dude that opens up for Attell a lot. And Attell does this thing on stage during his act where he pulls out a recorder, like those little flutes, and he like plays little songs on his recorder. And so Louie asked Attell for his funeral procession. Instead of Here Comes the Bride on the organ, it's Dave Attell, who half the crowd, it's going to be Louie's Jewish family. And I think I think they have money and like they don't know who Attell is. And now their nephew is walking up the aisle to some lunatic in a hoodie and a jean jacket and a wool hat in July playing probably like a Creedence song on the recorder. So I'm hoping to God there's videotape of that because I need to see that. Went out last night to another friend's house and we played running charades, which if you've never played running charades, it's the most fun game you can do at a party. You split up into like 5 groups. You get like 5 or 6 people in each group. And then you each get a clue. One person gets the clue. They run back to their group. They do charades. Whoever guesses right then runs to the clue giver, gets the next clue, runs back to the group. So you've got 5 different groups and people are all running to the clue giver, banging into each other, pushing and shoving. And the first one to get the 10 clues wins. So we did that. A lot of people were on mushrooms. I think some people were on Molly. Some of the clue giving was not coherent or linear. It was more of interpretive dances of ideas. So the games took a long time. We had this one woman we called her the wall, because every time she got a clue, she just froze. And Gibbons' girlfriend is very competitive, and she would be jumping up and down and screaming in the girl's face, which only made her more nervous. And we came in second like 5 times, but couldn't crack it to first place. I wanted to invite people, if you have not seen seen or heard my podcast, on my Father's Day podcast. It was kind of a love letter to my dad. It was very personal. I was very proud of how it came out. I put a lot of work into it. And I would love you guys to listen to it if you missed it. If you skipped it, go back, check out the Father's Day episode. Let me know what you think. I got so much nice email and feedback on social media from people saying that they loved it, that they cried, that it meant something to them. Because, everybody's got kind of a complicated relationship with parents. And I explored that. It had been 30 years since my dad died, so I wanted to do something special. And I had audio tapes of his radio shows from over the years, and so I played clips from that. And anyway, so check it out if you want. Tell your friends. I also want to plug my dates. I'll be coming to Soul Joel's in Pottstown, PA on July 20th. Also, Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey on July 21st to the 22nd. Tickets at Fitzdog.com. Also want to mention our good friends over at... who's today's? I love Game Time. Game Time is the place where you're going to get your tickets from now on. There will be no... I shouldn't mention other companies, but there is only one way to get tickets, because tickets go down in price as you get closer to the event. And Game Time does this thing where they do flash deals, last-minute tickets. And like, I'm looking at my phone right now, and if you want to go see the Dodgers, you can see the Dodgers. The tickets are normally, $50, $60. Right here, you can get a ticket for $6. And I mean, concerts, music, sporting events, comedy shows, whatever you want to see, it's all on Game Time. You can get the app. The website is gametime.co, not .com. But really, the app is what you want. It's super easy. It's a couple of taps. You don't have to print anything. You don't have to transfer anything. It's all right in your phone. And it will give you a view from the seat. You can check out what it looks like from your seat. You can get a guarantee that if you find another ticket later in the same row and section as your ticket, they will give you 110% refund. It's amazing. I've used it. We were going to go see Bruce Springsteen in Tulsa, and at the last minute, we had a bunch of people. In the last minute, a couple of people didn't have tickets. Well, the early people paid through the nose, and the people that waited paid... I don't want to besmirch Bruce Springsteen, but you could get tickets for like $15 at the end. It always happens with concerts, and this is how you take advantage of that. So take advantage, get involved, don't plan in advance, wait to the last minute, and just relax. That's how you should be at your concert, relaxed. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Fitzdog for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Fitzdog for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Oh, my guest today. I am so excited. He's a dear friend who I've spent endless hours hanging out with at the Comedy Store. And he's an American icon. You know him from his early days on MTV, where he was like a face of the network back in the 80s and 90s, and got started in the business because his mom is Mitzi Shore and his dad was Sammy Shore, who was a famous comedian. And he grew up living at the store where, Sam Kinison was babysitting him. Wild stories. He's been in a ton of movies, and he's just a super mellow, cool, fun guy. Kind of adorable, I have to admit. and I love him. Here's my talk from a couple weeks ago, actually, with the great Pauly Shore. Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. My guest is Pauly Shore.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going? I'm trying to think about where we first met. I know you're Boston, right?
Yeah, I started out in Boston. I don't know if we ever met when you came to Boston.
But we're the same age.
Yeah, I'm maybe a year or two older than you.
Yeah, but we started exactly at the same time in that late 80s, right?
Yeah, late 88 I started.
Because I've heard of Greg Fitzsimmons forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously I started seeing you at the store a lot, but I'm just trying to think, like, because I used touring a lot, like in Boston, we would do Hookie Lau, we would do
the Kowloon,
we would do Blumenreich, we would put fat butter all over his belly, and he'd have heaving thing. Dude, one time I was playing the Hookie Lau, dude, he ordered the biggest fucking steak I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he likes to eat.
Fuck.
Blumenreich likes to eat. He once, allegedly, I don't know if this is a fact, but somebody badmouthed him and made it personal.
Wow.
And he drove to Connecticut with a baseball bat, and he walked into this guy's house, and he straightened things out.
Amazing.
He doesn't fuck around.
Yeah. He did have some sort of a surgery. I remember that. Because he was so obese. He didn't take care of himself, and he was like, hey, and then he lost the weight, so he had the things. But that was good. He was always a really nice guy. But those are some really fun times.
Boston is a place everybody remembers coming to, because it's not just that the crowds are amazing. God,
I know.
But you're also surrounded by...
Dude.
They don't give a fuck. You can talk about... I mean, you want to talk about a place where political correctness doesn't matter?
Yeah.
They just want you to be funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you bring some attitude to it, and you're a little different, they go because it's Italian and Irish.
Did you do that run? It was Connections, and then it was like another place in Boston. Then there's the Hookie Lau, and Colleen drove it. Remember Colleen? Colleen, she was half black, half white. She drove for Blumenreich all the time.
Oh no, I don't remember her.
You never met her?
No.
She was there for years.
Okay.
She was his assistant.
Yeah.
And she used to run us, dude.
Yeah.
Run us, and she'd do like a show here, like quick, we gotta
Providence.
go to. Yeah. But it was, I love that. That was
it's an exciting time, and I started out like my class that I came up with was like Bill Burr, Patrice, Joe Rogan, Mark Maron, David Cross.
Yeah.
Dane Cook, Bobby Kelly.
Yeah.
We all came up at the same time. Louis C.K.
Yeah. The best.
Crazy.
Yeah, the best.
Crazy.
The best. And we all used to do WBCN.
Yes, with Mark Parento.
That was the one. He touched my penis once, but that's... No, I let him though. I wanted him to. He's like, he goes, hey, you're not into that. I'm like, for you, yes, please.
You know, he went to jail for that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He died, right?
No. Oh, did he die?
Shit, dude. I don't want to say that.
I think he died. I love Mark Parento.
Great.
Yeah, he gave me my first writing job. I used to write jokes for him when I was just starting out as a comedian.
Yeah.
So he used to bring me on his show all the time. And then there was the BCN Comedy Riot, where all the young comics... No, the Riot was a comedy competition. And Parento and BCN got way behind it, and they used to bring people in and interview them that did well in the competition. All the big comics would come in, and they would judge and give you notes and give you support. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a fun time. I love that Connections room. What a fucking rowdy room, right?
It was a great
in the mall, and you just insane.
Dude, steps away from Faneuil Hall, the place where literally the Constitution was ratified for the first time.
Yeah, just and they always put us up at that nice hotel right there. The Shore, was it the Shoreham, the Shore, something, or I forgot what it was, but it was a hotel right there, and it was always a pleasure in the '90s to go work with Bill.
Yeah, well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
And then when I came out here, I just remember you always being very welcoming. I felt like we already were friends. Like the first time we met, you just were very inclusive. And
well, I feel like I just love comedians.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, every time, even when I was with Rogan on his show about a month ago, I get teared up, when I'm with him, just because I don't know. He's like my brothers. You guys are like my brothers.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know.
But a lot of comics get cynical, and I remember being in the green room with you recently, and I said something kind of negative, and we were getting ready to go on, and you went, "Hey man, let's just keep it positive." And I was like, "Yeah, man, that's what's so nice about being around you is you don't get catty and shitty."
No. That's why I always, when I see Mark Maron, I always run from him.
Yeah.
I mean, he always says like this, I don't want to say the meanest things. I mean, it's Maron, so it's like, I don't really care. I've known him but he always has to say something kind of like not nice.
Right.
And that's not who I am. So.
Yeah. Well, who you are is a journeyman. I mean, you've never stopped doing stand-up. You've been hitting the road. I mean, I looked at your tour schedule coming up. You're working hard this summer. You're going, well, we'll read your dates later, but a bunch of places. Portland, I think you're going to this weekend?
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah.
This will air later than this, so that we can't plug that. But
we could plug my Vegas Wise Guys, which is cool.
Yeah, so now that's a recurring thing where your band is playing, the Crusties?
No, the Crusties are kind of finished.
Oh.
I mean, I kind of had that run for a couple of years in Vegas, and we did that, and it was fun. It's just playing in a band is a lot of work. It's a lot of rehearsals, a lot of fucking rehearsals.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
And you got to coordinate 5 people to rehearse.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I loved it, but like I'm in LA now. I'm not living in Vegas anymore, so I don't have that. I don't have that band. But we did do an album, and it's out now, and you can only get on my website. And we're selling these bundles, and basically,
I saw it.
Yeah, the way that we do it, we give a Biodome headshot and an Encino Man headshot along with the CD. It's signed with the CD, and it's cool. And we just
$60, and there's only 30 of them.
50 of them, yeah.
50 of them.
Yeah. So you get a bundle for $60.
That's going to be worth something someday if you buy it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fun way. I mean, it's, Louis C.K. has really done an amazing job as far as like, how the fuck do you get rid of the middleman and just go right to, so that's what we're all trying to figure out, obviously, is how to go right to the fan. So I think doing limited editions is a great kind of smart way. Number one, you don't have to buy thousands of shit units that you don't sell.
Yeah.
And you just do a short amount, and it makes it like, hey, it's limited, which it is, because then I run out, then I got to call the people and order more, and keep doing that, and it's fun and it's personal and it's
that's
intimate.
The thing
and
about
I think
you
that's cool. Yeah,
you're very personal. Like I know you do a lot of cameos. You've done a ton of cameos. You don't have a wall up between you and the audience. I think there's something very open and I think they appreciate that. They feel that.
Yeah.
And how do you think that is that you didn't get defensive, because you were attacked? I mean, you were panned by critics. You became like a punching bag for a little while.
For a lot of while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet you didn't go into a shell about that. Yeah. How do you think you maintain that?
I don't know. I was, I've been around it since I was little. I've seen it. I think when people make fun of people, I think a lot of it is it's loving. I think like a jab.
Right.
I was talking to Howie Mandel on his podcast, and he was doing the same thing when he first started, coming out, and he was kind of goofy. People would make fun of Howie Mandel or Carrot Top or all these guys. And I don't know, for me, like the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, on the Oscars. Yeah, at the Oscars, like when he made fun of me, I was honored. You know what I mean? It was
just in case people missed it, he basically said, he was talking about the what's Fraser's name?
Brendan Fraser.
And
Keith Kwan,
and that they won these awards, and that they were making big comebacks, and that he had done Encino Man with you, and then they made some comment that you weren't doing as well as they are, basically.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, I wasn't surprised because, I watched Jimmy Kimmel. I'm a fan of his, and I think he's done an amazing job somehow being the guy.
He's the only guy.
He's the guy on late night.
He's safe. He's funny. He's a pro.
And he's really fucking, and he's come into his own. Again, I'm really happy for him. So every time he makes fun of me on his show, I get I don't cry, but I get like, I feel like a sweet, it's like a sweet punch.
Right.
And, and it's nice to just be, mentioned.
Yeah.
Mentioned. And,
you're part of the cultural fabric of the country and entertainment. You're a guy that made his mark and is still doing it.
Yeah.
And however you're mentioned, that can change on a dime. Like these comebacks that people are making. You too. I mean, you do you act at all? A little bit. I got a movie that's
my point. Like someone can say, "Yo, I'm going to put Greg Fitzsimmons in a fucking drama, 6 scenes, and he's just going to play a fucking a crazy attorney that's on coke or whatever it is." It's just that one phone call.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about the business is you don't know. It's a whole combination of a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And
the only thing you can control is showing up and being your genuine self.
Yeah. And doing and being ready. It's kind of like I guess like a pit, not a pitcher, but like who's the pitcher that's waiting to pitch?
The closer?
Yeah, that waiting for that guy to come in. He's always waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the wings.
And he's warming up the whole time.
Warming up, yeah.
So. Right. So as far as the Kimmel thing goes, like how much of that kind of stuff do you think that in the end helps, that puts you back into the conversation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of calls. My manager got a lot of calls. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got offers, and I'm probably going to do this drama. And
wow.
Things are cool.
Yeah.
Things are cool. I had a rough time with my parents when they died and COVID and all that shit. And I moved out to Vegas because I'd moved to Vegas because I wanted to be around joy.
Yeah.
And to me, Vegas represented a good time.
Interesting.
Because it's fun and people are partying and everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
And LA was just burning and the riots and the George Floyd and the canceled and the Black Lives Matters and there was just like this heavy energy, this heavy darkness in LA, and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be here, and I'd been through so much. I'm like, God, I don't want to be locked up in my my apartment in Silver Lake. So I said, fuck it, I want to go to Vegas.
Nice.
And I got this sick house on an acre of land, 5 minutes off the strip in an old neighborhood. I was the youngest person in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most joyful times of my life.
Did you get to know your neighbors?
Yeah. I got to know all my neighbors.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about
great.
them.
Well, there was, Dean Martin's house was right across the street from my house.
No shit.
Yeah, he's obviously not my neighbor. He's dead.
Wow.
But the D was on there, and then I talked about Nicolas Cage. He was my neighbor and there for a while, and that was really cool because I became friends with him.
Wow.
And that was really nice because I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage, like you're a fan of Nicolas Cage.
Sure.
And for him to text me and say, let's go get sushi or come over, or let's hang out, it was like really like I got like this because starstruck.
Yeah.
And
he's Hollywood royalty. Cool.
Yeah, and he's just at the end of the day, I'm an actor, okay?
Yeah.
And I really love actors that are really good.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best. Mm-hmm. And being around him, I got to rehearse a little with him. He's got this new movie coming out pretty soon called Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. And he filmed the whole thing in Vegas. And he had red hair in it, and we were hanging out a lot at that time. And I rehearsed with him a little bit, and that was like kind of cool reading lines with him. So it was a really special time, and I kept a condo there, and I have a car there, and I have all my stuff there. So I fly into Vegas, and I get to feel like I'm still there.
Yeah.
And so I got to spend a good 2.5 years getting to know the locals, getting to know all the cool places off the strip.
Right.
Because everyone thinks Vegas is like, oh God, I can only stay there. I'm like, dude, you don't know. There's There's beautiful people that run that town.
Yeah.
And there's a beautiful, great art community. And there's amazing restaurants and little bars and little fucked up places.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be there anymore because it was really like harsh, you know, just like it's dirty and it's dry and people smell like alcohol and like there's like all that kind of layer and it's one note.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of culture and you know what I mean? And I wanted to be back, you know, by the store and I wanted to come back home because I just missed my friends and I missed this lifestyle out here. So, yeah, it was really cool. And my heart is in Vegas. I love it.
Yeah. I've always liked Vegas. I've had some adventures there. I had my bachelor party. We put 21 guys in a Winnebago and we drove into Vegas. And it was Zach Galifianakis and Nick Swartzen when they were completely unknown.
Wow.
Came out and we just do you remember a guy named Chips? He was an old lounge act who everybody used to go see. Chips something.
Don't know.
Anyway, let's talk about this movie. I love this idea that you've got a movie called Stuck in the Hood, or you've got an outline. And so instead of waiting for something to happen, you've put out a call through the internet to Dave Chappelle and I guess a couple other people to be in this movie. So tell me about the movie. Any
funny black comedian.
I love it.
Yeah. No, it's just, the internet is a great place. You know, you could do whatever you want. You could put your shit out there. So I came up with this idea of kind of a Trump character, Donald Trump type character being stuck in the hood. And then, you know, fish out of water. It's kind of like Son-in-Law Meets Fridays. And then at the end, my character saves the hood and I bring the blacks and the whites together.
Nice.
At the end. And it's like the typical Pauly movie. Yeah. But it's, simple, you know, where my character gets stuck in this drug house and I save the day. My character saves a bad thing's a good thing. And I put it out there. You know, I haven't gotten any bites, but you never know.
Who's your ideal cast?
Well, I think Snoop and Dre would be good for the main two guys you could get.
Do you know them?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Jay passed. I talked to him about it. He didn't want to do it. He didn't. I went to his house actually, and before I can even say stuck, he said, "No, man, no, I'm good." So he was like, "No, I'm good. We're not going to do that." But I guess he didn't want to hear my whole pitch on it. But I don't know. You know, this business is about doing. Yeah. And it's not about, you know, anything else but that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, we're doing this. I'm doing that. You're going to do this. It's just about doing. Yeah. It's what gets us out of bed. Again, that's what I talked to Howie about the other day. It was like, you know, he's worth got to be $1 billion, $500 million.
He's got to be
mean, you should see his fucking studio. Yeah. I mean, your jaw would drop. You should go do his podcast. Yeah. Fuck, dude. But you walk in his studio, you're like, what? It's like acres of just shit, just stuff. No shit. He's got like a hologram section. He's got podcast section. He's got green screen. It's like huge.
He's got a staff.
He's got a huge staff.
Yeah.
And what I was saying to him is in the business, it's not about anything else but doing. Yeah. You know? And
no, I looked at your website, which, by the way, we have the same social media person, Beth Hoops.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Mid-Coast Media in St. Louis.
Yes.
She's the greatest.
Yeah, she's funny.
She's funny and she's efficient and she gets how algorithms work. And, you know, she's really... And forgiving, because sometimes I'm not as good as like getting my shit in when I'm supposed to. And she never gives me a hard time about it.
Yeah, no, she's great. I've been with her for a while. I found her in at the Funny Bone in St. Louis.
Okay.
So I was working with Matt out there. I don't know if you've played the Funny Bone in St. Louis.
No, I usually do Helium.
Oof, you got to do the Funny Bone.
Better?
I wouldn't say it's better. It's just gnarlier.
Is it?
It's a little grungier.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little dirty. You smell mold when you're on stage, which I like. You know what I mean? It definitely feels like an 80s old school. I think it's the oldest Funny Bone in America.
Wow.
So it's got the low ceilings and it's dirty and it's rowdy and it's like people are yelling shit out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Beth is great. And
I was looking at your website, which I don't know if she helps you out with that, but it's smooth. Mm-hmm. Got a lot of shit. It made me realize how much, like you're saying, you're a grinder. You're just always putting shit out. You had the Guest House movie, came out a couple years ago. You have the Stick with the Dancing is your new one-man show, which I think is the new thing. Like, if you look at how people put together a stand-up special today, if they do a 1 hour special, it's personal, it's a story, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. I think people are more interested in that now than just seeing an hour of jokes. This
is completely different than my stand-up.
Yeah.
100% different. So this is a monologue.
Do you cry?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
In the third act, yeah, a little bit at the end. But it's a monologue.
Yeah.
So it's not a stand-up at all. So there's a script. So I come out and I just start, and then there's videos and photos playing behind me.
Okay.
As I'm kind of talking about what
I've heard amazing things about it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, people say you got to see this. It's a different side of Pauly.
Yeah, it's it's the life before MTV.
Yeah.
So it's all the shit leading up to it. It's all that stuff that everyone always wants to, know about the store and my mom and my dad and Elvis and growing up in Beverly Hills. And because the average fan that has seen me before on the movies or whatever, they don't really have they don't know the crazy life that my mom raised me around. So that's what it is. It's called Stick with the Dancing, because the first time I performed for my mom, she was in the original room, and she was with Paul Mooney and Louie Anderson, and I was showcasing for her. I'd been doing stand-up for 2 years, and I ended with pop locking. And I was doing other comedians' jokes that they wrote for me because I was the owner's son. So like Argus wrote me jokes, Angel Salazar. I had these jokes that were funny but didn't sound like me, and I ended with this pop locking thing, freakazoid, this whole thing. And then I went up to her, I'm like, yo, how did I do? She said, stick with the dancing. How old were you when you lost your virginity? 15.
Who'd you lose it to?
I forgot her name.
What was the situation?
It was me and my friend Mike Messick were at this club called Florentine Gardens. And,
so you had fake IDs?
No, it was like an underage club. Okay. It was like a kids club.
Yeah.
And it was called Florentine Gardens. And it was in off of Hollywood, and he was there with this girl. I think her name was Sari, and then this was Sari's friend.
Yeah.
So then we went back to Sari's house, and then Mike went to hump his girl in his room, and then I think I went to the housekeeper's headquarters or some shit, and then I humped this girl, and I came within seconds.
You did?
Of course, and I still come within seconds. So, and then I'd run into Mike's room with the clothes. Get out of we gotta go, So,
wait, why do you come so fast? Do you just have a sensitive penis? You still do?
Yeah.
Most guys our age are just kind of slowing down.
Well, yeah. I mean, no comment, but
yeah.
But yeah. So no, I don't know. I just I don't know. Pussy is my kryptonite, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like. Is that rude or something?
No, not at all. I mean,
no, I don't know. It's just your dick goes inside of a vagina. Most of the time it's wet.
Yeah.
And there's like a tingling sensation, and all of a sudden you have to stop fucking, so you don't come so fast.
Yeah.
I was talking about on saying this whole, obviously everyone's talking about it, but I'm trying to come with my own angle. Every comic tries to come with their own angle on the whole trans thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I asked the audience, some people are into it, some people aren't. I'm like, you ever fucked a trans woman?
Yeah.
And no one has. I mean, no guy has ever, at least in the audience. And I'm like, I want to be the first to fuck a trans woman and report back to the heterosexuals and say, maybe the pussy's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what you're talking about? Maybe a man-made pussy is better than a real pussy.
Right.
You don't know.
Yep.
I mean, is there any guys that have fucked a trans girl? Because a trans woman has changed her dick to a pussy. It's probably tucked away, and there's a pussy in there, and it's a pussy, I'm sure. I've never even
breasts, brand new breasts.
Brand new breasts. So it's got the whole thing.
Yep. Have you ever seen the lady boys in Thailand?
I have.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I have. But I'm not one to touch a penis on another body. You know what I mean? Like if there was a chick and I'm like, oh, that's a chick, and I went down there and it's a dick, I would be like this.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's the closest you ever came to doing a gay thing?
I did do a gay thing once. Yeah. And it was with this comedian, Greg Fitzsimmons, in the Comedy Store basement. Oh, God, jerk it off.
That's how you get on the show. It's the only way on.
Yeah. No, it was many years ago, probably 20 years ago. I was guest starring on Nash Bridges.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not the gay part. And after me working, I ordered a massage back to the hotel in San Francisco. And there was a gay masseuse. I've gotten massaged by gay dudes before. It wasn't a big deal ever. And he's rubbing me, and then he flips me over, and I pass out. But then I wake up. I passed out because I was tired.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. And when I woke up, my dick was in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, doing this.
Really?
And he's like, you want me to finish? And I looked around, let's see if anyone's watching. I'm like, all right, just go with finish. And he finished it, dude. And it was a great hand job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
how did you feel?
I felt weird out. I felt a little violated. But it was, I could have said, no, I'm good.
What kind of a tip does that involve?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt like, okay, leave, bro, leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't, But that was the only time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there were more times, but it's just not my thing.
It's got to happen like that, though. I mean, you talk about spontaneous. Like, that was an unthought out thing. That just happened.
Yeah.
Especially when you got a running start on that one. Like, you were already in his hand before.
And he got me very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, he teed me up.
Right.
And since it's San Francisco, he probably thought that's how, or he probably know that's how all massages are.
Yes.
He probably does that all the time.
Yeah.
And he probably would have felt weird if I said, no, dude, stop jerking me off.
Right.
He would have probably been like, like that. So.
But you still have a tour bus? Do you tour? No.
No, I'm the Hertz guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Who do you have open for you on the road?
This week's Benji Afalo's opening for me.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, Benji's going to open for me. Sometimes it's Sandy. But a lot of comics have opened for me. Ari Shafir back in the day, Ren Azizi, John Caparulo, Rick Ingram, Bobby Lee, Jesus.
So you like someone who's going to kill in front of you.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of guys go soft, and they want somebody who's not going to outshine them.
No.
Yeah, this makes you work hard.
Yeah, but I always think of the audience. The audience to me is the most important. So I always think like they're paying to see the show. I don't want them to go like, oh, the first guy sucked.
Right.
And then they're getting, I want them to go, the whole show is cool.
Right.
Yeah, that's really important. You just did Joe's Club.
I did.
Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the mothership. Right? Because I know you were out there a little while ago,
it's fucking great, huh?
It's an immersive experience. It would be the equivalent of a 7-year-old going to Disneyland. It doesn't stop.
Right.
You show up, he puts you in an amazing hotel. You get to the club, the green room is full. I walk in, the green room's got Shane Gillis, Mark Norman, Ari Shafir, Joe, Roseanne Barr. And you just walk into, like, you're getting ready to... Usually I want to get my head together before I go on and chill out a little bit. And all of a sudden it's like, they're all on mushrooms.
Right.
So the fucking green room is hysterical. Everybody's just laughing and silly.
Yeah.
And then you go on stage, and it's like the walls have fabric on them, so it absorbs the sound the way you want it to. He lowered the ceilings. He reconstructed the whole room.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. came in. They were about to open a month later, and Louis C.K. came in and said, no, you got to change the height of the stage.
Yeah.
So they delayed opening, rebuilt the stage.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
And so the crowds... They're not your typical crowds. They're young as shit. They're in their 20s and early 30s. They are professional comedy fans. They love comedy. They know how to behave. And then you get off stage, and they got the Mitzi's room downstairs, which is a speakeasy. Yeah. What did that mean to you when you went into the Mitzi's bar?
I think everything that Joe does means a lot to me.
Yeah.
It's not just my mom's bar. It's the whole thing.
Right.
It's what he's doing.
Right.
I love that he's doing that. He doesn't have to do this. So it's something bigger, than him.
Yeah.
And so, adding my mom's bar in there, which, again, it's just, it's about her spirit, and it's about, it's kind of about her, you know, what she did for stand-up, and also like, you know, paying it back and, you know, honoring her in her cadence and how she ran the business and how she developed comedians. And even though she's not here, everyone kind of knows her, her rhythm on what she did. You become a doorman, you da-da-da, and then park cars and da-da-da, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you develop and having that kind of energy in his space is a really cool, you know, it's a cool thing because, you know, she's there. You feel her there, you know?
Yeah, he's developing all these young comics, and there's some, and they're all at different levels. But they're all included, you know. Everybody feels like they're a part of it. They're invested
no one's
in
bigger than, you know, Joe's not bigger, this guy's not big. Everyone's kind of like we're all.
Yeah, and in the Mitzi's room afterwards, the staff, I can't remember if it's a Mitzi's room or Mitzi's bar.
Mitzi's bar, yeah.
Mitzi's bar, and it's the staff with the comedians all hanging out together. And there's no attitudes, and it's all total. We're there till like 4:30 in the morning. And then you walk home, and you walk down 6th Street at 4:30 in the morning, and I came out of the back door, and, you know, you come out the back, and there's the alley there. Yeah. And there was what looked like a pool of blood, pretty big, horse shit on either side of it. I see a guy he's drug sick, he's throwing up. Then I see this white guy rapping at a black guy who's sitting on the ground, like aggressively rapping in his face. 4 police cars with their lights on. I just went, if you were like an art director for a movie, you'd be like, whoa, dial it back about 5 notches. No one's gonna buy this.
Yeah.
We're not going for the, you know, apocalypse here. We're just going for, you know, chaos.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No. And then he's got the different rooms. He's got the big room, the small room.
Yep.
And so anyways, you know, I'm glad that exists. I'm glad that he did it. And, you know, I'm glad they put the phones in the cases. I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's
you know,
a
I
nice
wish every
touch.
comedy club would do that.
Right.
I just did a great gig in Arkansas, believe it or not. One of the best gigs I've done in years.
I think I might have done it. Is it called the Grand Comedy Club?
It's called, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Calhoun, fuck, what's the name? Lowell, Arkansas.
Yeah, Mitch Fattel runs it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Lowell, Arkansas. I did it. I think it's called the Grand Comedy Club. It's fun as shit. It's all Walmart workers because that's where their headquarters is.
Yeah. So, but I was saying that they have phones. They put their phones in the cases.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
You know, especially how I work.
Right.
Because I never know where the fuck I'm going to go on stage.
There's a lot of things that are crazy about you. The fact that you're worth as much money as you are and you still tour as hard as you do and you come up with projects and all that stuff. A lot of guys would retire on the kind of money that you have. And the other thing that's crazy about you is that you have been, as we talked about earlier, you have been with a lot of women. And yet, you're clearly a gentleman because there's never been any accusations of sexual malfeasance with you. Yeah. Everything's been on the up and up.
I've thought about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Well, like you said, I've never been the guy that ever put something in a girl's drink. Yeah. I've never been, you know, I don't want to be with anyone that doesn't want to be with me. Yeah. And I'm not talking about just a female. I'm talking about a guy, a friend, you know, anyone. Like I want to be with people that want to be with me. Right. So if I'm in a situation where a girl's like, I don't know, I'm like, awesome. Yeah. Let's just fucking go have a sandwich. Right. You know what I mean? I don't. And also, you know, I was on MTV and I was, I don't know. They all came after me. I didn't, it was always like, oh, Pauly this, Pauly that. Pauly. It was never like, there's no sneaky, like weird thing. I never, I don't know. I've always been really chill.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing because, you see a lot of it now. What's the longest term relationship you've had with a woman?
7 years.
Oh, wow.
With 2 different girls, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the girl thing is really interesting for me. It's, it's, first of all, relationship, like I never saw, like, I don't like to blame my upbringing for who I became, but we all are kind of a product of our environment. So my parents divorced when I was 3. So I never saw a fucking relationship. Right. You know what I mean? I never saw like the passing the peas and the picket fence. And I think that's why my brother Peter like moved to Portland, you know, just to be with his wife and his kids away from all this, you know, because he never, you know, saw it. Right. You know, so for me, you know, I never saw it. And then my dad wasn't around and he was fucking on the road. You know, he was with Elvis and he was doing his thing. And my mom was more focused on the comedians. So the comedians watched me. Right. And then from there, you know, comedians, you know, they're not the most, you know, loyal to one another. They cheat and they, you know, and they're, you know, with Sam Kinison was a very big influence on me, you know, and he was, you know, he was dating porno stars. Right. You know, that was his thing. So then I started dating porno stars. Right. So, you know, you become a product of your environment. So that kind of fucked me up, you know, just being around that energy, you know, of not seeing a normal thing. Yeah. You know, that was one thing. And another thing is, you know, part of me doesn't trust. You know what I mean? I don't trust women. Right. You know, I don't trust a woman. Like, why does she really like me? You know, once she finds out who I am. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of a cop out a little bit, but it's partly true. You know, like, what's the reason? What's their motivation? So I get that trust thing, you know, like, you know.
But after 7 years, you must have started to believe that these women loved you for who you were.
Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of, you know, a back and forth, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're known or you're not known, or you have money, you don't have money. You're either a nice person or you're not a nice person. Right. And I'm a nice person, you know what I mean? And I think that's why a lot of the girls I date, they really like me. Yeah. They're like, fuck, he's quiet. He's not doing drugs.
You're curious. You listen to people. Yeah. A lot of people that are at your level and position, like, it's all about them. But I see you meet new people and you're very curious and you talk to them and you care. Yeah. And I do, you know what I mean? I do care about people and they see that and they get shocked like, oh my God, like, you know, I just had a girlfriend stay with me from Las Vegas, and she stayed downstairs in my house. I wasn't having sex with her. It wasn't that. We were just friends. I'm like, you know, and we just hung out and we laughed. Yeah. And there wasn't a sexual thing. It wasn't like that. And I didn't think that like, oh, I'm going to bring this girl to my house and we're going to have sex. I was never thinking like that. Right. I was just being a nice guy. Yeah. You know, and if something happens, cool. So it's cool. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, I'm not interested in being with someone that doesn't want to be with me. Life's fucking, you know, I want to be surrounded with people that love me and I love them. Yeah. And what about guys? Like, who are the guys that you have been with you the longest? Like, do you have high school or MTV people that are still like...
No, I have all my... Dean Gelber, who used to run the club here. Do you know Dean Gelber? No. Dean Gelber... Sorry, I have a stuffing of my ear thing, so that's why I do that. So Dean Gelber is a guy, you know, Lainey Gelber, Lainey and Jerry. Right. They're always here at the Ding Dong Show. Yeah. So Lainey is Dean's mom. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Dean's my I wouldn't even say high school friend. I would say like before that, middle school. Like we're talking like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Wow. He's staying at my house with me right now. Really? It's one of my best friends. I have a guy named Dave Curtin that I've known since high school. He's my brother Peter's good friend. He's my good friend. I still talk to him almost.
So you don't have those issues with men in terms of, do they want me for something else, or what's their motive for being my friend?
I have that with everyone, but I still surround myself with, you know, with people that I grew up with. Right. I have my friend John Vorsmer who lives in, you know, he lives in Idaho. He's still my friend. We grew up together. Yeah. So, and the comedians, you know, I mean, Bobby Lee and Sandy Danto and Benji, you know, and Benji's opening for me. He's one of my good dear friends. Yeah. So we're going to hang out, you know, and go get coffee and go to the gym and talk and you know.
Does he help you with your act? Because he's a good writer.
He doesn't, you know, but I might have him tag some of my shit. Yeah. You know. All
right. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got a lot of shit going on, but whenever I have a comedian on the show, I ask them the same three questions.
Is this a show? That's more of a therapy session.
You gave me a lot today.
Yeah, dude, I got a lot. I got a lot of really fun stuff. Like I said earlier, I love this business.
Yeah.
And I got it from my dad, and I got it from my mom.
Yeah.
I'm half and half, right down the middle. My dad, Sammy Shore, was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, he was just like, you met him, I'm sure.
I never met your dad.
Fuck, dude.
No.
He was so awesome. He loved comedians.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more I become him. And the older I get, the more I become my mom.
Right.
You know, when I watch comedians at the store and I'm in the back, I'm my mom. I'm not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because that's her stage. And I'm, you know, what the fuck? You get him off, or, you know, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, I see all that shit.
And you start to accept them as you get older. Start to see what they were like going through this stage that you're going through.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, and, but back to being alone, and not having a girlfriend, and not, because we were kind of going down that road. I don't know. I think it's really about having a best friend. And I think it's really about, it's not about being a female or a male. I think it's just about wanting to hang out. Like Dean, for instance, my friend Dean, he's married and he's always talking to his girl. You know, he's just like, that's his ride or die.
Yeah.
You know, so until I find that person that I just want to fucking hang out with and fuck, you know, then okay, let's fucking move in, because I like you.
Yeah.
And I want to be with you. And until that happens, you have to always be happy with where you're at this day. Yeah. It's really important, I believe, to be in this moment now. And right now I don't have a girlfriend, and I have to like enjoy it. Yeah. And then if I get one, then I'll enjoy that. Right. You know, when that comes. But there's something really great about being by myself. There's something really great about going to sleep by myself. You know, I got my dog. Yeah. You know, I got my social media. I got, you know, my CNN, my Fox, my Netflix. Yeah. You know, I go to my Korean spa. You know, I love that, you know, and I go to the gym 5 days a week.
Do you really?
Yeah.
No shit.
5 days a week, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
Is the Korean spa a happy ending place?
No, it's not.
No.
It's a place down 6th Street. And it's just, you know, it's called a sauna. I walk in.
Do men all walk around naked?
Naked, yeah. All the Asians they're mostly 99% of them are Asians. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, it's the best. Right. And it's
they saved my life. And they do scrubs on your skin,
and you
right?
Not at this one. They're not scrubbing. You just walk in, you take your clothes off, you go inside the area, and you shower, and you go into the hot pool, and then there's 2 different steam rooms. There's a dry sauna, and there's also a wet steam. Yeah. And you go back and forth, and there's a cold plunge. Whoa. And then you lie down, and you just chill, and they're fucking playing the Laker game. Or the basketball game, and you're like, fuck, I'm in heaven. Yeah. Like, this is fucking great. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You get a massage there.
Sometimes, if you want. There's a massage where they walk on your back upstairs. You could do that. And then you chill, and then you go, I'm going to do 1 more round or 2 more rounds. And then you leave, and you're just like, oh. And that's what it's about. You should go to the Russian. I go to the Russian bathhouse a lot, too. Okay. It's really good. You ever do that stuff?
I did it once, and
it's so great. It's so good for you. Yeah. To steam and to go back to the cold and the hot. Right. It's like literally.
I know Rogan swears by all that stuff.
It saved my life, dude.
All right, so real quick, I want to ask you these 3 questions. Have you ever not finished a set on stage?
Fuck, that's a really good question. I remember doing a really, really bad set. And that just every joke kind of got me in New York at Gotham, and every joke kept digging and digging in the hole, and digging, and then it just got like I got sweaty and shit, and then I like bailed. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was like years ago at Gotham, because I didn't know how to play that crowd.
Yeah, Gotham is a tough room.
It is a tough room. Right?
It can be great, but it can also be they could just completely shut down.
Right, they're like this. Right,
that's it. Yeah.
Have you done the Cellar a lot?
Oh yeah. I lived in New York for like 10 years. So I was at the Cellar like 4 or 5 nights.
And what's so great about that room? I've done it once, and it was all right. It was just a small room.
It's funny because it's a very small room, and it's not not a good setup at all.
No,
because
exactly.
all the diners upstairs have to walk through the center of the comedy club to get to the bathroom. So you got these constant things.
Yeah.
But somehow it just feels very New York. It feels like you can talk about anything. The old catch with you.
Did you ever play the old catch?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, dude. I did that room all the time.
That was
with the mirror in front of it.
Right.
That was a tough room, dude.
That was a tough room.
Did you ever do Dangerfields?
No.
Oof. That was a good room, too.
Yeah, I heard haunted stories about Dangerfields. I didn't want to go in there. But no, the Cellar is a special place because it's got that great restaurant upstairs, the Olive Tree, and the comics hang, and it's a really good chill. And then, I don't know, there's something about that room of just, it's weird. Getting accepted in there just means something. You know, it's very much like out here at the store.
Yeah.
And Esty is very much a presence there. I think the way your mom was. She's always developed people, and she's.
Well, if you see her, tell her, give me a spot there. She won't book me. No, I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious.
No, I like that room. Yeah.
Second question: have you ever lent a lot of money to somebody?
Fuck. I've given money to people knowing that I wasn't going to get it back, and I was just like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did it affect the relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. You know, yeah. You know, but then that relationship was supposed to be what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know.
Right.
So money's a weird thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, we'll go out on this. What's the hackiest bit you've ever done?
I'm doing it every night. Let me see. Wait, what is that? Oh, yeah. Dog the Bounty Hunter. Fuck. I forgot. I mean, I've done so many jokes for my whole life. I'd have to say, I don't know. I have a joke that's a little hacky, but it kills.
Yeah, they do. That's why you do them.
Yeah.
That's why you go against your better judgment, and it's like a drug. You want the laugh so bad, you're willing to take the bad consequences.
Well, you know it's...
right?
You know it's going to kill.
Yep, and it's always at the end. The hacky bits are always at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have a lot of hacky jokes at the end.
Yeah.
I'd say not a lot. Some of them are pretty gnarly. But I have to say, like, there's one or two hacky. Can I do the hacky joke?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I talk about, you know, not being able to fuck like I used to, and I can't get my dick hard, and I go, but thank God there's Viagra. You know, how many guys take Viagra? It's quiet. Yeah. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit, because no one admits it. Yeah. It's like coke.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone does it, but no one fucking, no one admits they took Viagra. So I said, you know what's not cool about Viagra? It's one-sided. It's just a pill for guys to get their dick hard for sex. You know, what about a pill for girls to get you a little bit more moisture for sex? But that pill wouldn't be called Viagra. It'd be called Niagara. And then you walk around, your pussy's well. Hey man, I took that Niagara pill, and it goes into the whole thing. But it's just Niagara, Viagra. It's interesting that no one's ever stole that from me. Uh-huh. It's such an easy bit to steal.
Yeah. I think you're safe. I think you're safe.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah, so that was pretty hacky.
Yeah. All right, listen, Pauly, I kept you longer than you wanted to be here, but I sensed you wanted to still be here, so I didn't wrap it up.
For sure.
All right, good. Your tour date's coming up. You're hitting the road hard. Las Vegas, regular appearances there. Hartford, Connecticut, Albany, Syracuse, Sarasota, Tampa, Orlando, Jewett, Ohio. They're going to change that name. Akron, Everett, Washington, Tacoma, Newton, North Carolina, Liberty, South Carolina. It goes on and on. If you go to paulyshore.com, Pauly with a Y, you will find out how to get the tickets to these shows and how to check out all his other stuff. It's a great website. There's like a ton of content on there. There's links to your band doing some videos.
Yeah. The band's fun. The album's actually really cool. If you guys want to check it out, it's just called Pauly Shore and the Crusties. The name of the album is called Crustopolis Volume 1.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Because everyone's going, where's volume 2? I'm like, whoa, bro, go easy. We got that. And then my YouTube page is pretty cool. I have a lot of really cool stuff on there. And then my one-man show, it's out. It's going to be touring it in the late summer, early fall. And I'm coming back here on to the store on August 20th, I think. And then also in in the fall. So I'm doing it at the store 3 times in the main room before the year ends.
I can't wait to see it.
It's
very
cool.
excited. All right, thanks for your time, man.
Bye, guys.
Bye.